Hi everybody, welcome to the beautiful lake north of Tizzy, and in this beginner's guide I'm going to introduce you to something that even experienced DayZ players don't always know about, and that is trapping. Yes, we're not talking about hunting, we're not talking about looting, we're talking about trapping fish and rabbits and hares using the fishnet trap, the normal bottle fish trap, and the snare, which you can see here. And the beauty of these devices is that they are, well, set and forget, so they're perfect for the PvE player. You can set a load of these out, go off adventuring, gathering resources, come back, and you could have some meals ready to go. So let's start off with the snare. What we need is some metal wire, a short stick, and then some food to put in it. I find that the hares and rabbits really like apples. Seem to work an awful lot of the time. So if we take the metal wire to our hand, look at the short stick, we see craft snare trap. So let's see if we can craft this snare trap. There we go. And remember what normally happens in DayZ: if you craft something, it ends up on the floor next to you. So we'll take the apple, we'll take the snare, and then we will go and place it somewhere. And the way they work is you place your snare. Let's see if there we go. So we can place it there, and then you add your food to it. Now you can just place the snare or the fish traps without any food in them, but the chances of them snaring or capturing rabbit, hare, or some fish is quite low. So that's done. So we need to be at least, I think it's at least 25 meters away, and we need to leave it for 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour for an animal potentially to be caught. Now what could happen is you could lose your food, and you come back to find an empty snare. In this case, we've managed to capture hare. So there we go. So I've got a hare, so I could take that. I could cut it up and eat it, and generally have a nice meal. Now we can reset the snare as well. So if we drop the hare, actually, if we pick up the snare and then replace it, at this point we can then, because it's been replaced, we can now add food to it again. Even things like worms, actually, you can add to them. I like to add worms to, have I got anything? No, I haven't got anything, but I like to add worms to the fish traps, and that would then be ready to go again. Now if we go over here, we'll see that the simple fish trap has caught some bitterlings. Now there's not many calories in these little bitterlings, but they may well keep you alive. And in the big fish net trap, we've got a carp, which we can cut up, cook, and that would be very good. So let's make the simple fish trap first, and we make that with a plastic bottle. So let's take that to our hands, and then we can combine it with our knife, and you'll see we have craft plastic bottle fish trap hold. So we're going to craft that. Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum-dum-dum. And basically what it's doing is kind of cutting the bottle in half, then inverting the top of it like that. You see? So the idea is the fish swim in and then can't get out. Now what we'll do is we will take the worm as well, and we will put the fish trap into our hand. What have I done with it? Did I drop it? Oh, there it is. I dropped it there. So take it into our hand. Let's go over to the water. Let's get over here, and we'll get the little deploy icon, so we can deploy that. And again, just like the snare, if we do catch some fish, we take the fish out of the trap, pick the trap up, redeploy it, then add our bait to it as well. So what we can now do is we can now add the bait to the trap, and that one is ready to go. So now this is the net fish trap, which is very impressive because it captures a whole fish, and the fish have got quite a few calories in them. One of the best things you can eat. So to make this, we need some metal wire and some netting. Now netting can be quite rare. Metal wire you find like in industrial places, and netting you tend to find around the coast and in the little boats. Sometimes you find it in sheds and places like that. So let's take the netting to our hand. Let's look at the wire. Craft fish trap hold. So we're just going to craft this. There we go. And there we have our fish trap. And we can take that to our hands. And we will take this worm as well. And then we will go down to the water. And when we're near the water, if it's in our hands, you'll get the deploy icon. So we can click and hold to deploy our fish trap. There we go. And then we can add our worm to it. And that is ready to go. So again, leave it for half an hour. And you never know, we might catch something just like we've caught this rather nice carp there. So we can take that, and then what we do, again, we could take the fish net trap to our hands, redeploy it, and once it's redeployed, we can then add the bait to it again. You know, dig up some worms, maybe even try an apple or something like that, and we could catch even more fish. And you could imagine you could really be self-sufficient if you make enough of these things around any of the small ponds or lakes. You could have several fish traps and snares, and you'd be catching loads of rabbits, hares, loads of fish, enough to, you know, stay alive. And remember that trapping is much stealthier than shooting deers and pigs and boar and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, you're doing it without making any sound at all. And because lots of people don't know about trapping, they may even ignore these. They may not even think to look in the water. I guess you're probably better off hiding them near the rushes in the water. So there we go. So there we go. Trapping in DayZ. If you're a DayZ beginner, you've now got another skill, another string to add to your survival bow. I hope you found this useful. If you have, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And of course, I'll see you again soon.